What's going on, everybody? Yo, man, hit that like button, subscribe button, leave a comment, follow your boy. Let's get right into it. Hey, man, I finally got done watching Alice in Borderland Season 3. Yo, epic show. Yo, just right out the gate, I'm letting you guys know right now, this is a spoiler review. Spoiler review, okay, right out the gate. So, man, look, like, my goodness, man, like, where do I start? Right out the gate, I love the show, all right? I'm a big fan of Alice in Borderlands. Yo, I've been down with this show since it's like 20. I think this show came out like 2020, and I've been telling so much people, at least in my friend circle, to watch this show. This show is phenomenal. It's incredible. And right out the gate, like season 3, I was a little bit let down when I noticed that, okay, it's only 6 episodes. So I was like, damn, like, okay, like 6 episodes. Usually they give us 8. But they gave us jumbo size episodes. So in a way I was like, all right, okay, you know, maybe they can't wrap this up in 6 episodes, because each episode was at least over an hour long. So we got a lot of story. And one of the things that I noticed is, like, to me at least, season 3 felt very different from the previous 2 seasons. Now I'm gonna say, like, right out the gate, like, seasons 1 and 2, to me, it felt like it came straight from the manga, okay? Because I know the show is based off of a manga. Like, I feel as if, like, I was watching a manga just like on TV, because the over-the-top nature of the show, this is death-defying games, the colors, just, you know, a little bit of, like, a little bit of the, you know, the comedy in the show, at least with, you know, Arisu and his best friends at the beginning, at least in season 1. Like, it really felt to me like it was just ripped out of a page of a manga. But what I noticed about season 3, to me at least, it felt darker. It felt a little bit more grittier, okay? It wasn't as bright. It felt more, I want to say, like, realistic, okay? Like, just a little bit slightly more depressing. at least with this season, for real. I kind of get that feeling right out the gate when we're introduced to the professor, Ryuji. There we go, Ryuji. You know, when we get introduced to him, this is a professor who's been studying the afterlife. Like, he wants to know, you know, how it is just to be inside of the Borderlands. Like, he studies the afterlife, and people kind of make fun of him because he's so much consumed into his work, into finding out, you know, that other world. You know, he's trying his best to get to the Borderlands, right? And I want to say, like, his character, he's so consumed by that. I feel as if the best thing about his character is, like, his eyes. He does a phenomenal job with acting with his eyes, because I feel as if his facial expressions and his eyes basically tells you the type of person that he is. Like, he's basically despicable. He's slimy, okay? He can't be trusted, all right? And he's just the type of character that he does anything in his power to get what he wants. And that's what I loved about his character, because honestly, I was just rooting I was rooting against him. Okay, I did not like him in a good way, basically, and I just love that aspect of his character. And also, my thing with this season is that, like, okay, I was very interested to see how would they get our main characters, you know, Arisu and Usagi, back into the Borderlands. In my opinion, season 2 is like a masterclass of a show. I love season 2, and I feel as if it was like a storybook ending, at least for me. So I was very interested to see, okay, how will we get back into it? All right. Now, I feel as if the reasoning of Usagi going back to the Borderlands, I thought it was pretty genius, because I want to say, like, the first, at least in season 1, we get that aspect, we get that backstory of her father, you know, her father being like a masterclass of a rock climber. And then he offed himself because people were saying that he lied about, you know, finishing the climb or something like that. So that's what he did. And then, of course, people would make fun of her, saying, you know, her dad lied about everything and all this stuff. And she had to basically hold on to that burden. You know, she was very sad and depressed because she missed her father. And I just love how they piggybacked on that backstory leading into this season. Okay, because, you know, she's having nightmares, right? She keep having that dream about her father, and he's jumping off that mountaintop. And then it was consuming her so much that she wanted to see her father. Like, I know throughout the show she was saying like, yo, like, I don't care if it's a nightmare, like whenever I see him, I feel his presence, right? And I want to see him. So of course Ryugi, he basically capitalized on that, and he was using that, he was feeding off that type of energy. He was like, man, look, basically I could take you back to the Borderlands to meet your father. And that's exactly what they did. So I felt as if that was a really, really good jumping off point, you know, to get Arisu back into the Borderlands. So I thought that was a really, really cool aspect of that. Now, right out the gate, like, honestly, I felt as if the performance between the three main leads was phenomenal. Okay, now, yo, your boy Arisu, he's like husband of the year. Okay, for him to go back into the Borderlands just to save his wife is phenomenal. Okay, it's phenomenal. And I love his character, man. He's still that same character, you know, calculated, trying to figure out how to beat everything. He's super smart. And again, he just goes head first into these games. He's trying to figure out everything. And I love that. Now, also, too, the Joker character, well, I'm just going to label him the Joker character. I think his name is Bandy or Banda. I think his name is Banda, if I'm not mistaken. But his character, I'm just gonna portray him as the Joker. Like, he's going out his way to get Arisu back into the Borderlands. He wants him to stay in the Borderlands because, I guess, for his entertainment, his enjoyment, because he's bored. He said we don't have we don't have no good players in the Borderlands, and he wants Arisu because, of course, Arisu was the one who beat the games, so he wants him back. And I mean, it's just crazy to think that, you know, this guy, Banda, is going out his way, like trying to mess up Arisu's life, get Usagi back into the Borderlands. I mean, it's pretty crazy that somebody is that sick in the head to do that, to get them back in there. And it's honestly, like, this show is phenomenal, for real, truly, hands down phenomenal. Also, too, you know, like, I really, really love the aspect of just the underlying theming of the show. Basically, like, it continued from season 1 to season 2 to even to now, like the meaning of living. I just love how they ask that question. What is your meaning of living? Like, why do you choose to live? That's been an underlying theme way back in season 1 with your boy Arisu and his friends. They basically sacrificed themselves and told him, like, yo, keep living. Like, I just love that aspect. And, you know, that basically carried on over into this season because, you know, your girl Usagi, basically, she was trying to find, I want to say, her reasoning of living and moving on. And then finally, when she was able to talk to her father towards the end and had that conversation, and he basically told her, like, yo, there's a lot more meaning in life. Like, you have something to live for. And when she gave him that hug, and then, you know, it turns into her husband trying to, you know, rescue her. I just love that aspect. Like, I feel as if that was so poetic, man, because she finally have a reason. She's also pregnant, and that's another reason for her to continue to live. And again, Alice in Borderlands just does a phenomenal job with that particular theme in it. It's incredible. Also, too, man, the games, like, yo, the games were really, really nice, man. The games were phenomenal. The last game, the one about your future, I thought, yo, that game was crazy because it shows the human nature, right? And all of us, we're all selfish at the end of the day. Okay, of course you wanna go through the doors where it shows that you have a better future. But in actuality, when they kept going through those doors with the better future, it kept leading them further and further away from the exit. And then eventually it tricked them in a way. And man, looky here, man. Yo, some of these deaths were so impactful, man. Because pertaining to that game, the doctor character, Tetsu, right? When he kept going through that door, you know, he had a drug addiction problem. And then when he kept going to the door where it looked like his future was getting better and better, and then he went to the door and it deducted like 8 points from him. And then it turns out he died. Like, oh my goodness, man. That was so gut-wrenching. So gut-wrenching. And man, this show does a great job of just impactfulness of these characters, because there's characters that we didn't really spend that much time with, but man, like, yo, like when they kill these characters, oh my gosh, like you truly felt it. You truly felt it. And yo, and that's just like bottom line of these games, man. These games were just amazing. Again, and then the brother and sister character, I can't think of the brother's name right now, but you know, he loved his sister so much, right? And then he basically took it upon himself. It was like, of course, Arisu was telling him like, yo, we need to meet up over here in this room. We gotta help Ree out. Like, yo, let's work as a team. But when they start seeing like, you know, the different futures, again, it's human nature to be selfish. He's like, yo, forget all of that. Me and my sister, we're going down these doors. And then as they kept going through different doors, and then it turns out, again, it tricked him, and he got killed as well too. But right before he was being killed, the future that it was showing him was his sister having a good life, you know, with I think her future boyfriend, and he was just still happy that his sister was able to live a potential life. And man, yo, I wanted to cry, man. I really wanted to cry. I mean, like, again, man, like, these games were phenomenal. Like, I don't know the name of the game where Usagi was playing, where it's, I think, like, the lasers were like going by, and then Ryugi was in the freaking wheelchair, and he was avoiding freaking laser beams and all that stuff. And he was using people as human shields and stuff. And Usagi's like, yo, stop using humans, man. Stop using people as shields. And they jumping and diving and flipping like, yo, phenomenal. Or when I was playing the bingo on top of the towers, like, yo, like, these games were crazy. crazy. But again, all the performances, man, were top tier, phenomenal. Okay, like I said, the meaning of the show, it just, man, like, I feel as if this show really stuck the landing, and that was my biggest fear. Will this show stick the landing? Again, to me, season 2 was incredible, and we had to wait almost 3 years again for this last season. And man, right out the gate, this show is a 10 out of 10, at least for me. I had a blast watching this show. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was a little bit upset when we got the cameos of the previous characters from the previous 2 seasons, man, because that's one of my gripes. I do miss those characters. I miss the characters that we went down that journey and that path through, you know, the first 2 seasons. Okay, I miss those, and just to see them all at the end, and you know, they talking to Arisu, and they don't recognize him, he don't recognize them. It was like, oh my gosh, like, come on, man, like please, like, come on. But still, it was cool. It was a very cool moment, a very touching moment at the end of the day. And also, to typical Netflix, they're alluding to an American spin-off version of the show. Squid Game has done it, and now it's looking like Alice in Borderland is potentially doing it. Of course, I'm gonna watch it, but it probably won't feel the same. But again, this show is phenomenal. I mean, you guys let me know, what was you guys' favorite game? What was you guys' favorite moment about the show? I had a blast watching it. But as always, leave a like, leave a comment, follow your boy. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.